Not exactly your typical college classroom setting, but what the students learned here today may help them after graduation.
It is time to pick a side. The big state showdown between the Spartans and the Wolverines is happening today.
Aisha, Consumers Energy just arrived a few minutes ago. The reason why they're here is because one of those homes has a gas leak. They pushed everyone back to try to work the scene.
Daphne, you're so excited. You're being from Florida. It's snowing outside.
I was just outside and I'm being made fun of.
Yes, we are.
Loving. It's been nearly 2 years since Jaden passed, and his story continues to inspire people to pay it forward in a big way. A bond hearing is scheduled here at the courthouse for Monday morning to determine whether or not Logan Gaines is released pending a new trial. The prosecutor says there will be strict guidelines in place if that happens. In the meantime, the family say they don't relish the idea of a new trial, but
more than 4,000 missing person cases in the state of Michigan. And while the circumstances surrounding each individual case may be different.
Hi, Sherry. Look at you.
You know, if you're going to have to spend the day outside, you might as well take advantage of it like these kids are and spend the day by the pool.
You really are committed to this cold weather story, aren't you?
Oh, okay. Not really this cold out, but it is a little colder than normal. An ordinance is already in place to limit the number of dogs residents can have, but now one local town is looking to crack down on the number of cats as well.
the very first text message wasn't actually sent by phone. It was sent by computer, and it read, "Merry Christmas."
I'm doing okay out here, Carrie. Actually, it's not too bad out here. The sun is out, but that wasn't the case earlier today in the cooler temps, keeping folks away. Overnight, a suspicious fire rips through a home at the corner of Fordney and Cambry in Saginaw. Firefighters rushed to the scene just a little after 11 p.m. When crews arrived, the house was engulfed in flames. Luckily, no one was in the home at the time of the fire. Police say they need your help tracking down the person responsible.
A local sheriff says the state needs to crack down on people who abuse animals.
Miley Cyrus's nail polish is painting up controversy.
Apparently, some of her Instagram followers are upset about her painting her pet pig's nails, and it's our morning talker.
Take a look at this. Cyrus posted these pictures of her pig, Bubba Sue, on the social media website.
And as you can see, the piglet has red hot trotters. Cyrus captioned the pig's photo saying, "Pig, gonna be looking fresh."
Oh my goodness. Some of the singer's followers don't find the footwork amusing. One called it animal abuse.
And another commented saying, "Miley, pigs aren't a toy. Don't paint them."
Miley got Bubba Sue back in August after the death of her dog. It's a cute little piglet.
I don't know what I think about this. I guess it's like fall themed. So
You've seen dogs with their, nails painted too.
I wonder if that's actually bad for them.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they eat it or something. That wouldn't be good.
91-year-old Joe Ulicki says he became a bit unnerved when he first heard this message on his answering machine.
Well, it kind of upset my stomach a little bit.
After taking a few minutes to calm himself down, he says he realized something wasn't right.
I do taxes all the time, all the family and everything. So I knew that it was a scam right away.
He wondered if he had been targeted.
Do they know I'm a senior citizen or what?
The number left by the caller wasn't clear, so we called the number that came up on Joe's caller ID. And this is what we got.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
And according to the Internal Revenue Service website, telephone scams are on the rise. And here's what you need to know. The IRS will always send taxpayers a written notification of any tax due via the U.S. mail. And the IRS never asks for credit card, debit card, or prepaid card information over the phone. Thankfully, Joe recognized it was a scam and will be on alert if they call back. In the meantime, he has advice for his fellow seniors who may be on the receiving end of one of these calls.
What I would suggest that if they get a call like that and to do anything, tell them, I got to call you back. I can't do it right now. Could you give me your number and get their phone number and then go ahead and hang up? And if they won't give you their phone number, then you know something's wrong.
In Saginaw Township, Sherry Hardman, WNEM TV 5. This brutal hit on University of Michigan quarterback Shane Morris brings back painful memories for Matt Bringert.
It was a pretty nasty hit.
Morris appears to be out of it following the hit. Days later, he would be diagnosed with a concussion. It's a similar scenario Bringert says he experienced this past football season.
I was dazed, confused, a lot of ringing in my head.
Bringert is a student athlete at Carroll High School. He says sports, in particular football, has been a part of his life for as long as he can remember. But that was the first time he had suffered a head injury during a game.
Kind of scary.
He would remain silent about what was happening and go on to play the entire second half without being diagnosed with a concussion.
And I didn't want to let the team down.
But you don't need to be knocked out. You don't need loss of consciousness to have a concussion.
Dr. Frank Shinko has been a neurologist for more than 20 years. He tells the I-Team younger athletes like Matt are more susceptible to concussions.
The younger brain is more apt to have a concussion and have more permanent injuries. But certainly multiple concussions can cause long-term damage that can be long-term and cause memory and injuries to the brain, such as depression, that really have led to some actual suicides in some professional athletes.
The long-term effects of repeated concussions at the high school, college, and professional levels has been a hot topic in recent years.
The issue is the players are getting so fast and they're getting so big that the collisions are so much more violent.
Stuart Schweigert played defensive back on the college and pro level. He says he sustained dozens of concussions over the course of his career.
I would have deja vu. Then I would see stars on my upper left eye where it was blurry, and it was a little scary because you couldn't really see too well. I could tackle the guy, but if the ball was coming my way, it was a little bit tricky,
And the impact of those repeated hits to his brain are now being felt years later.
I lose my keys probably 4 or 5 times a day. My phone, we have that little Find My Phone thing. I've had to use that multiple times. My wallet. My wife would just put it in the same spot every time, and I try to do that, but then I end up not around. I always, when I leave, she like counts down on her head, 3, 2, and I'll come back in the door, oh, I forgot something.
Just 33 years old, Schweigert knows that kind of forgetfulness is not normal for someone his age. It's why he recently participated in cognitive testing in Washington, D.C. to find out just how much damage has been done to his brain by those vicious hits.
It was tough because I was getting some of those wrong, and I'm sitting there going, I graduated from Purdue in 3.5 years, and this is like elementary school stuff, and the doctor giving the test kept telling me, just relax. Believe me, people get a lot more wrong than you think they do, but still I was frustrated with it because I'm going, I know I should be able to answer these things.
And Schweigert admits, even while taking part in this interview.
Where were we going with that?
He had trouble concentrating.
The pauses are getting like a little bit longer to figure out where I'm going with the conversation. Just like today, a couple times we had to stop because I'm going.
You kind of get off track.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, and you're going, okay, what was I talking about again?
Fortunately, the testing he underwent showed his memory loss wasn't as severe as he feared. Still, he worries about his future and the damage done by playing the sport he loves.
It was a wake-up call.
But there may be hope for at least someone like Matt Bringert who still plays sports. Researchers are developing a pill that would protect the brain from long-term damage done by repeated concussions.
This is a pill that actually is designed, or the drug inside the pill is designed so that it does not get into the brain unless actually it's damaged. And so if you don't actually have a damage or an injury that day, it's excreted, and so you're good to go. Sometimes that if you've been hit in the head that you aren't quite right, that it'd be nice if I could take something to sort of relieve that sort of, not just the headache, but actually the damage that was causing that headache.
Still, now knowing what they know about the dangers, both Bringert and Schweigert in particular says in his case, it was worth the risk.
I have so many great memories and stories and learned so many life lessons from football. So I would do it again. I would for sure. And I would let my son play football. I would.
With this 19 report, Sherry Hardman, WNEM TV5.
Police believe they have found his body miles from his home, and they say they believe it's been there this whole time. For nearly 2 weeks, Bill Stroop says he watched as police searched for something near his home in Montrose Township.
We thought there might have been some drugs or something that got stashed.
He says he never imagined it was a body they were looking for.
It's just a terrible thing, you know, that people would do that. It's bad enough that they would kill somebody, but then to try to hide the body somewhere. And
Police believe the body found just down the road from Stroop's home is that of 55-year-old Patrick Mike Sr. of Troy. Mike Sr. had been missing for 2 weeks. His body was found on the edge of a cornfield near a tractor Ed Polson said he had recently used.
Pretty crazy because I guess a few days before I was working ground over there, and apparently the body was right there, and I parked the tractor right next to the body, so I had no idea.
Perhaps even more shocking, police believe Mike Sr.'s body was put there by his own son, Patrick Mikes Jr. Police say witnesses in the area have identified the car that belongs to Mike Jr. Polson says strange cars are not uncommon in this area.
I mean, it's nothing unusual to see somebody parked at a field around this time of the year, because you're usually out trying to find a good spot to go deer hunting or whatever.
21-year-old Patrick Mikes Jr. was arraigned Thursday on open murder charges in connection to his father's disappearance.
really a sad thing to me, you know, that his own son is accused of the crime, but it's just an indication of the way we live today.
Police believe that Troy man was not killed in Montrose Township, and they say they believe they have the right person in custody. Reporting live in Genesee County, Sherry Hartman, WNEM TV 5.